Boot to that.
Is that a yes?
Boot to their head.
Yes, that's a yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, guys. Well, when we last left you, you guys were on your way out of the little town that you'd run into, the town of Monotus. If I didn't tell you,
You didn't mention it.
Oh,
You never said the name.
His name is Monotus, but you don't know
Monotus. So
I thought you
very
did tell
good.
us, but whatever. My fault.
And we're moving on to the town of Cacophonous.
Cacophony.
Ah.
Well, monotone. Monotonous.
And we're moving on to the Whizz.
And
We're
we're
going
moving
to see
on
the
to
Whizz.
crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Why did I suddenly think of Michael Jackson as the Tin Man and Diana Ross as Dorothy? I don't know, never mind.
All right. Okay, so you move out and you come into a forest, and I need any of you guys have some knowledge, nature, anything like that, science.
All right.
I have science, but not nature.
I have.
Well,
Susan's
there's
got
two
a fairly...
types. There's the science hard and the science soft. So you know.
Okay. How about survival in the woods?
Okay, I'll give you that.
All right. Okay. Whip out dice. Okay.
How about shut the hell up?
You make me very angry. Holy criminy, that's a good start.
Say, I know
Cheated.
Ronan has knowledge botany. I don't know if that's going to be helpful. And the fact that he's not here.
Kind of.
I rolled 13 on the survival.
Okay, cool. You notice that you're hearing bird sounds and things like that, but you're not hearing any insect sounds. You know,
What do the birds eat then?
good question.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Birds can eat
And-
any number of things.
Yeah, but they like bugs.
And you look around and you see the forest is like a climax forest. It's actually very clear.
I can.
Not a whole lot of underbrush or things like that, which is normal when you have like a lot of tree canopy and things like that.
Sure.
Right.
I'm just saying it's something you notice. You know, you can
Okay.
hear bird sounds,
Very
you can
good.
see squirrels, and other things like that. But there's it's a big distinction because when you were out walking through the fields and things like that, insects were everywhere.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the situation right now?
We're walking in the forest.
Right.
We left the town. We're walking through the forest to.
Now that bird
wizard.
did how many wounds to Chen Wei?
17.
Yeah.
Okay,
good.
aside from the jokes,
I
I really thought that went without saying, but I guess it doesn't go without saying.
No, okay.
You should
We're
know
walking
not
through a
to ask
forest,
that.
and Susan noticed that there are no insects in this forest, but there are a lot of birds.
And my question was, what
So
do
what
the
do the
birds
birds eat? Yeah.
Yeah,
what do
same
they...
thing, basically. Yeah.
And what pollinates things then if there's no bugs?
Now, if this is it looks like, especially given all the other stuff, that this may be some kind of artificial place.
Could be.
I mean, maybe we're in one of your, space colonies. I have no idea what those things look like, but
Me neither.
Me either.
I mean, we look up in the sky. It's just like dark, right? It's not stars and moon. Is it?
There's a big sun up in the sky.
Oh, okay.
Sun shining in the sky.
Back in the other place, it was just dark. There wasn't.
It was just dark. Yeah, you didn't see any.
So there's no stars or moon.
There's no star. There is one star, and no moons. And the sky is beautiful blue. And but you don't really see clouds. It just seems to be hazy, and it seems to be getting hazier as the day goes on.
Yeah, if this was like a fake sky inside of a space colony, it looks like that might be what it looked like. You never know. I mean, it's not like Chen Wei has seen one, but It's a guess.
That's a
That's
fairly
leap.
interesting deduction, Chenway.
And you guys make those things, so you tell me
We
what they
do?
look like.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's future
Just in
technology.
movies.
Yeah,
Mike
but
says-
they're things you're planning, right?
Mike
don't
says,
know.
I have seen television shows
Yeah.
that postulate such things, the orbital being one of them.
It's
Well, and Chenway knows that we launched people into space to go to a Mars colony. So
Oh, that is true,
yeah, 'cause
yes.
he helped work on it.
yeah, I know.
Mhm. Okay.
So
But no,
it could very
Earth
very well
currently
be.
does
I
not
mean,
have any colonies in
There,
space.
there's no sky, there's no sun and moon, there's no clouds. The life forms here are obviously things that somebody set up if there's no insects. Magicians are in like easy to understand colored versions rather than like fancy names like London and New Delhi.
Hmm.
And cities as well. I mean,
Hmm.
Okay then.
Well, let's proceed onward to this large city.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
and oh yeah, and gravity is weird, and
I'm going to agree
and your
with
compass
your
doesn't
statement.
work.
I'm not actually confirming your statement.
and your compasses don't work. Wouldn't that all be a space colony?
Could be. I mean, anything's possible at this point.
Yes, that is correct.
Is that how gravity would work on a space colony?
I have no idea.
You guys are scientists, like, or
Well, the idea of
one of you's a
artificial
scientist.
gravity is beyond us. I mean, all we can do is centripetal gravity. So
Well, would
That-
that work like
yeah.
the gravity here?
no.
Out of game, I know it doesn't, but
Mhm. Well, none of us have ever. This is Susan. None of us have actually been up into space, Chenway. So
Oh, you know,
we
I've
would
been to
not
space.
be able to tell if it was natural gravity or if it was centripetal gravity. There's no way to
I've
tell.
been to space.
You have?
is this gravity real gravity then?
Mhm.
I have no idea.
Oh.
But he just said nobody's been to space. And I'm like, well, yeah, actually, I have been to space because when we went up and worked on the satellite at the
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's true.
that was
Yeah,
space.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. And
But,
Cole is here. Hooray!
Oh, the
All
gang's
right.
all
Sorry,
here.
at the last minute, had to do some errands.
Well, okay, very good.
Okay, so we're traveling through the forest.
All right.
And I was suggesting that because of all the weird things, we might be on a space colony because you have bad gravity, you have bad life forms, you have no sky, you have wizards that fall into convenient colors.
Hmm.
What,
Convenience.
would they be inconvenient colors if they were like the beige wizard and the
Well,
Like
like
Paisley,
if
yeah.
they're like colors
Hues.
at all instead of like names, it sounds like somebody must have named all of them at once, or else they would have normal names.
Search
Well,
they
for
have
that
normal
one
names.
wizard we just
black.
the puce wizard?
the plaid wizard, the baby.
The Moby shaded pinky russet wizard.
Who says you
Maroon.
can't have a plaid wizard?
All right.
But they do have names, though. They all have names.
Do we, Bruce?
You started.
Right here.
Susan looks around and sees. Are any of these trees fruit bearing, or they're more?
Yes,
Oh, some are.
some are nut bearing.
Okay.
Used to be quite a variety of them.
See, do they seem to be mostly fruit or nut bearing?
No, they're
Okay.
a whole variety of things.
Okay.
But it's. But
Have we
can't-
seen weeds or let me rephrase that, plants that people probably usually don't want around, like dandelions or ragweed or such?
Are you talking about in the forest, or are you talking about outside the forest?
Well, anywhere, but particularly where we are now. I mean, stuff wouldn't be in the underbrush, but
Everything that's growing here is currently growing that requires low light. Okay, I mean it's kind of,
Okay.
I say it's kind of dark. These trees are, have big lofty branches that
Yeah.
block out a lot of sunlight. So,
but
Sure.
have we seen like dandelions, for instance,
Dan,
outside the forest?
you have seen dandelions outside.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because I was thinking like, plants like that, people probably wouldn't bring into a space colony if every plant is put there on purpose.
Not unless they're fans of dandelion wine, says Susan.
Or
You
dandelion
can actually
salads.
dandelion greens.
Or if they
Sure.
got brought in accidentally, I guess.
Mhm.
It would be actually a very easy thing to grow. So
But if they didn't
Dandelions
bring any
do go quite
insects and
well.
they managed to enforce that, you'd think they'd enforce bringing in weeds as well.
Hmm.
From Angel
everything's
Petrova.
part of the ecosystem.
Chenway, why are you obsessed with space colonies?
It's a guess, and it's one of those things, people in your time are starting to build.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, one point I need is from Mike and Chuck and Kaitlin is that when you speak for your characters, you need to identify which one it is, because I've been kind of ignoring half of your characters because I would assume somebody was talking when it could have been somebody else entirely.
Yeah, that's why
Okay,
I
Bruce.
just said
Okay, Bruce.
names.
Yeah. It says Mike. Says Susan.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so you guys travel for quite a ways. Now, this is a hard, a fairly hard journey for Dom, because Dom basically has to, practically belly crawl through this forest,
Hmm.
because he's a big dragon,
Sorry,
and
buddy.
Who's a big dragon?
not all the tree branches are like 40 feet above the ground. So there's a lot of crunching, snapping sounds as he pushes himself underneath some boughs and things like that. So I tell you that, and the rest of you, as far as I know, are just walking along, right?
Right. Right.
Okay.
yes, sir.
All right. So let me see here. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. So, you guys actually find it rather difficult to move through this forest because of mostly because Dom is slowing you way down.
Right.
And so it's a good 20 hours later before
Wow.
you actually, but as you're getting closer to where you think you're going, you start hearing this sound, this whooshing sound that seems to be coming. It gets loud. It seems to be getting louder and softer, louder and softer, louder and softer.
Like something's breathing?
No. It's more, it's so regular. This has got to be some kind of mechanical sound. Okay.
Okay.
And you hear it seemingly coming from the forest all around you, because of, acoustics and such. So I just thought I'd tell you that.
Okay. Yeah. One question. How long is the time period between the portal changing where we guess we may end up being teleported again?
Well, it's 46 hours.
So it's 23 hours for each half.
If you'd like.
And we've already been here 20 hours.
No, it's 46 hours, and then the thing was shut for 46 hours.
Okay, so it's
you
46
were 46
hours
hours in the dark before it or 46 hours from the time of the last time change. Because you didn't-
Okay, so we do still have some time then.
yeah,
About
you
like
had
like a
you had
day.
basically like a day, yeah, but as
Mhm.
your normal time period, right?
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just saying is that you're probably going to have to. It's up to you. Do you want to like try to bed down here in the forest, or do you want to try to press forward?
I don't think we're going to, this is Mike. I don't think we're going to make much progress or be very effective being as tired and sore as we are now. I'll have to agree with Mike on that one, says Susan.
Yeah, does anybody have a drone? I mean, I don't, but did anybody happen to be carrying one?
Nope.
Considering we must left all of almost everything back at the last castle, all I have is what was in my pockets.
Yep.
From Petrova. I know I have my bag, but I don't have a drone on me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Bruce, how tall are the trees here?
From what you saw when you first came into the forest, they were anywhere between. They were probably between 150 and 200 feet tall.
So that's tall enough that the dragon, couldn't reach his neck, above them. Okay.
Exact. Not to mention the fact that currently his neck is like pressed down with tree branches that are lower down. But yeah, I mean, there's some places where, like I said, it actually, some of the trees branches really kind of start at 40 feet. And there's room to stop and stuff. But other places, the trees by their nature have branches lower down. But yeah. But of course, they're all, they're. It's not like you can't see any light. There is no light coming through. I'm just saying it tends to be filtered down through the trees here and there. So if you had a drone, then you probably could have sent one up. But it also means that somebody really wants to do it and climb. So anybody want to climb and try to get some idea of where they want, if they're going the right direction? Because right now you guys are basically dead reckoning it. They said it's that way, and you've been walking through a forest now for 20 hours. You could be far afield from where you want to be.
Mhm.
Sure. Well, Susan's clearing an area for a campsite right now.
Okay.
And Mike's just sitting on the ground.
All right.
Well, if no one else is going to climb a tree, says Petrova, I'm more than willing to do it.
Okay.
All right.
Unless someone
Climb, you
else
crazy monkey.
Dom is perfectly happy to let you sit on his head, and he'll raise you up to the lower branches, make it a little easier to climb.
then she shall do that. Thank you, Dom.
No problem.
It's a dragon scope.
All right, so give me a climb check.
Woody boop boop.
As athletic as Susan is, she's not a good climber.
10.
10. Okay.
Nice.
That's a very good roll. Okay. As you climb, get further up, you start hearing and seeing more and more insects.
Oh, so we do see some. Okay.
You didn't see them down where you are, but where she is up in the canopy, she starts seeing that there are, in fact, some insects up here. And the higher she gets, the more she sees.
I'm going to keep quiet and try not to scare them away and keep going.
Okay. And that sound becomes much clearer. And the farther up you go, the higher up the sound seems to be.
Higher up in pitch or volume?
In height.
Oh.
Okay.
Lovely.
So, all right, give me another climb check, please.
7.
7. Okay. So you managed to climb really pretty high. I mean, you're up where the branches are, you're up, like you say, a good, let me see here. Yeah, you're like 18 stories up.
Shit.
Okay. And you're holding on, and you're like, pressing down some branches that are really small at this point. Okay, you're saying, I really hope there's not a strong breeze because that could be bad with your weight on the top. And you look around and you hear this sound and you suddenly realize, that not very far away at all is a gigantic metal tower with these two huge discs whirling around it. And you hear that sound and you realize that sound is these discs whizzing around this central tower, and that must be the city of Whizz. And not only that, but you can see buildings on those discs.
Is it in the direction that we're going?
Let's find out. You are significantly deviated from it. You were basically going. You were going to miss it entirely and still stay in the forest if you hadn't done this. So it was a good thing you did it.
Yeah, no one else was gonna do it.
Right. So yeah, you get a better idea. It's over that way.
Over in
and
that
yeah, you also can see that there are cultivated fields. Well, actually, from where you are in the forest, I don't think you can see that. Okay, so I'm just saying that's what you can see is that big tower. So it goes up, a good 500 feet up into the air.
Wow. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Guess I shall start climbing back down.
Goodness.
I hope I don't fall on my ass.
Well,
It's not the fall
yeah,
it
I
hurts.
think that would be a fall, quite a fall.
Yeah.
Not the fall it
It
hurts.
would be. It would be. No double ones.
All right. All right, so this is not to scale. But this is kind of what you saw.
Mm.
See if I can bring this up. There we go.
Oh, nice.
And I got to type some stuff here. Let's see here. Wait a second.
Yeah, you're good.
Would you have a D6 climbing or a D8?
D6.
Okay.
I have a +2 because I'm an acrobat.
Nice.
Wait, sorry. Nope, sorry.
Acrobat.
The +2 is from thief.
Oh.
And there's buildings on the discs?
Yep, there are buildings on the discs.
Okay.
So there's your cards, and there it is.
Here's your card.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right. Let's see who gets psychic power today. It is Cole gets psychic power today.
Oh no. Let's see if he'll actually use it.
I utilize mass mind control on the girls of the village. Okay, fine. Here they are.
All right.
Now this would be good if I was going to go challenge Lysira. Or one of her dragons. Challenge card.
Okay.
Sorry.
So just so you understand, is that the trees are probably 3 times as tall as they are in that picture.
Wow.
As I said, this thing's about 500 foot tall.
Yep.
And the trees are about 200.
And the buildings are like
Wow.
stuck to the sides of the dish?
They're on the inside of the
On
dish.
the inside of the dish. Okay.
Right.
That's very weird.
That's extremely weird.
Where is this picture?
It's with the
In
cards.
the
It's
chat.
right
It's in the
before.
chat.
It's in the chat right before the cards.
Right.
Oh, okay.
right.
Yes, and and you also saw a whole lot of the actual thing apparently has some kind of gatling, like wind gatling around. I'm using the wrong word. Gantry around it, and there seems to be some kind of harnessing cable work or something going from the center pillar out to those discs.
So you said there are buildings on the discs?
I just said that.
Yes.
Right,
Inside
but
the
the way the
disc.
discs are shown in the picture, they're not like
On the
upright.
inside, yeah, they're stuck to the inside of it. Like the gravity is being created by spinning around. Thus, they
Yeah.
stick to the inside.
Please understand that I drew these pictures, and I am
Oh,
no
wow.
artist.
Mm.
I was using a program to do it. So,
Way
yeah.
better than me. Yeah.
Lovely either way.
Yes.
So once Angel gets down, Mike will say,
It's
"So,
all right.
Angel, what did any luck?"
Yeah. City we're looking for, and I'm pointing in the direction that we're supposed to be going. We would have bypassed it completely.
Oh. Susan says, "Sorry, gang."
I thought that was the plan: was completely bypass the city, wander off in a different direction,
And find another village
and
eventually.
find another village. Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
A complete another adventure. Yeah.
We're
Okay.
off on an adventure for the Wizard of Oz.
Okay. Susan says, "Who wants first watch with me?"
I'll take first watch.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do
Prevents me from
second.
killing
I
him.
don't think we should stay long. I don't,
Okay.
like, let's not plan on spending, 8 hours of sleep and dicking around camp for 10, I think we need to
Alright.
keep this as short as possible.
All right. 2
Well,
hours rest.
if the half portal time passes, we may find ourselves either back where we were or back by the portal or someplace
Exactly.
else.
That's why I'm saying we need to
Yeah.
do,
All right.
let's do this. So, like, we'll do like a 4-hour break basically for
All
rest.
right. Okay.
All right.
I mean, yeah, we're going to be tired, but it's better to be tired than, having to pop off somewhere else. You know what I mean?
All right. So we'll have, we'll be, everyone will get 4 hours of rest.
Not necessarily. I mean, if you want to have
Okay.
a watch, somebody's not getting 4 hours of rest.
Susan says, I misunderstood. I thought you said we're all getting 4 hours of rest. No, the group is going to be here for 4 hours.
I
Is that
mean,
what you want, Jason?
I think we should just take 4 hours. And if we all rest it for 4 hours, then fine.
Well, we're gonna have to have watches, so if we all rest for 4 hours, we're gonna need to have more than 4 hours of time.
So you're talking about 6 hours of time, 8 hours of time? What are we looking at?
Susan says, I was looking at 6. Everyone nods off for 4 hours.
Okay.
2,
Dom
2, and
says
2.
to Angel, the longer we stay here, the more delicious they look.
Oh jeez.
Delicious.
It's been 20 hours since he last ate.
Yeah, we'll find you something. I promise. Just try not to eat them.
He says, I ain't. He says, I ain't chasing squirrels.
Although through the telepathic link, I may not protest if you try to eat Ronan.
Terrible.
I may not protest, but
All right.
test
So,
Wait,
all right.
don't stop. Oh my.
Chenwei and Susan, Cole and Mike, Kaitlin and Angel and Jason.
Okay.
Angelica and Angel and Jason. One of the angels.
Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels.
Angelica or
Is your
Petrova?
third character going to be named Angel too?
Yeah. Probably Petrova.
Probably Petrova.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And Angelica Roux will get a full 6 hours of rest.
Angelica Roux
Okay.
does not mind.
All right, 6 hours later.
6 hours later.
Okay, SpongeBob.
Get on your feet. Let's go.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, geez. Okay. Right. Sure. Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. Put the boots on and back on and head out. La 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 la.
I'll hand out food as we're walking.
Oh.
Who started with the
Well, we have
Smurfs?
food that we brought with us, right?
Yeah. All mine was in my backpack. Me too.
Well, I meant they gave us food to take with us.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot.
Hello.
Yeah, okay. I forgot.
Read along.
Oh yeah. Pay no attention to the man behind the mirror. Okay, we're not paying attention. Oh.
This would be your This would be at least your second meal, assuming you haven't just been noshing as you go along since you left those people.
Alrighty. Okay, following Angel Petrova's direction, we head in the direction of the tower.
Now, you say Angel Petrova, so is it Angel or Angelica who did the climb?
Petrova.
Petrova.
So Angel,
That's-
not Angelica.
Angel. Oh, okay.
The dragon rider is the one that did the climb.
Okay. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
works.
All right.
Anybody going to Chupacabra Con?
To what?
I don't even know what it is.
Apparently, there's a. I just got a thing for Chupacabra Con.
It's a rodent found in South America.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's a tabletop gaming convention.
I got invited to Nancy Con.
Nancy.
Yep. Yeah. The lady who runs
Is this-
Legend of the
Is
Shining
this a stranger? Is this a Stranger Things reference?
Jewel. No, it's
Yeah.
not a Stranger Things reference.
They should have a con.
Well,
They
I
do.
said if
It's
I ever
called
hit the lottery, I would have Chuck
On
Con.
Facebook, Cancellation Con.
It's
Oh my gosh,
It's
that's funny.
it's in its like 5th year, I think.
Yep.
fifth year
always
of not
thought-
having a con.
I always thought Confusion was a great name for a con.
And we certainly have that.
Yep. Confusion. All right. Okay. Walk, travel.
Okay, so
Travel.
after a couple miles further, you basically break out into cleared land, okay, and where there are some fields and houses, and you see, this enormous superstructure that is wrapped around this giant, this pillar that goes up way up into the sky, and you can see that on the top of it there's like a cap on it, and these with these arms coming out the side, and on the ends of those arms are these two giant metal discs, and they're just going around, and you can see there's people on, here and there on the superstructure. They appear to be maintaining it, and there's people in the fields, and there's people doing various things in this little community that is around what must be the city of Whizz. You also are close enough to see that there actually are like these kind of like wicker basket kind of things that look like they're lowered from the center, or not really lowered, well, kind of low. You'll understand better in the situation arises. They seem to go from the center out to the discs. It's a conveyance of some kind.
All right. Okay.
And hanging off the end of each
Now-
one is another wicker basket, and they're flying around the air. No.
Oh, there you go. A lot of fun. It's for the kiddies, yeah.
Right.
All right, now you said there was a superstructure surrounding the tower, like a
Yeah, like I
wall?
say, it's like there's a scaffolding, that goes around. It's like when you see these like unbelievable, places in like China where there's like this like staircase that's literally like attached to the wall of a sheer mountain.
Oh, wow.
Well, basically, you have something like that seems to be like spiraling around this thing, working its way ever upwards, and all the wooden structure that is necessary in order to support that.
Okay.
And what's the column made out of? Metal?
It looks like it's made out of metal.
Okay,
Rather primitive yet advanced at the same time.
Yeah.
Or a combination.
Let's see if we can find a way
The column
in.
looks like it's about 100 feet in diameter.
Pretty big.
Yeah.
Susan says, let's see if we can look around and find a way in.
Well, I'd say walk up to it.
Sounds good. Let's do
I
that.
imagine someone will talk to us.
You think they'd be friendly towards dragons?
I don't know. We're gonna find out though.
What's with the fake
He's a pilgrim
optimism?
after all.
What's with the fake optimism?
All Dom has to say is, "I'm here to see the wizard," or whatever. And
If
I
he
don't know.
says that, I'm gonna find a way to end him myself.
Show
Okay.
me your wizard.
All right. Yes. In short order, someone comes waving at you, running towards you.
Okay.
Running?
Yes, running.
Do they have like anything in their hands, or are they just like? Can we gather from their body language whether they're running up to greet us or they're running up to like?
No, not really. They're bounding along through the air in
Bounding.
these prodigious leaps, like you are familiar with. Well, actually, most of you are not familiar with it so much as Ronan would be familiar. This is very similar to the behavior that he and Kithora engaged in when they did their little jog over to the Blue Wizards enclave.
But we ourselves are unable to do this.
No, you certainly could. You just haven't. You've just been walking along at your normal pace.
Oh, we were also in trees too. So
it's also because every time you do it, you start feeling a little bit queasy.
All right.
Tendency to stay. This guy is like just bounding along, like a gazelle, pretty much, and waving at you, yelling, "Stop! Stop!"
Okay,
Stop.
Bruce.
Yes.
Okay, Bruce. Susan's going to use her empathy ability to see what this guy's emotions are like. If he's panicked, if he's scared,
What's the
if he's
range
angry.
of that?
Smarts.
Okay,
Susan
smart.
has a D10 smarts.
Okay, so that would be smart. Usually, when you roll for it, is it tripled if you get a raise, or is it just the same?
Let's see here. Okay, no, a raise just gives me my a better charisma bonus.
Okay, so basically, you've got a range of about 30 feet.
Okay, so when he's in range.
Okay, 36.
Okay, 4. Success.
Oh, okay. All right. So anyways, when he gets in range, he's coming, basically it's only a couple of seconds before he's like right up to you guys. He's like, he says, hey, don't be walking through the crops. That big lummox there is going to trample everything.
Okay, so I would
Referring
say
to Dom, by the way.
I'd say upset.
Oh, I looked at Ronan and I was like, what? What did you do? Kidding.
Dom looks at him, licks his lips, or licks his mouth.
Hold on. Not yet.
Dragon lips.
We apologize, sir, for our dragon. We were unaware of we were traipsing through your crops.
Says, you don't see the fields all around you?
Are we walking through a field of food?
Yeah, I told you that there were cultivated fields.
Well,
I
assumed we were taking a path. Sorry.
No, there are paths, but they're like cart size, and Dom is bigger than a cart.
Yeah.
Now you could follow the cart paths very carefully, and Dom could do minimal damage, but you weren't doing that. You were just basically heading straight, as you said, for the big pillar, until someone yelled at you to stop, and someone just did.
Okay. Dragon Rider Angel, can you help here?
I just told Dom to hold off, and then said not yet. So.
All right.
Okay.
Dom basically
get him onto the cart
stops,
path.
sits down on a good 10 square feet of cropland, just crushing it under his weight, and just waves his tail back and forth and starts sighing down some more.
Well, I mean, That's
We
one way to do it. Thank you.
This guy, Susan, this guy is you know, his empathetic is like, you know, he's shocked and beginning to get angry.
okay. Susan tries to calm him. She says, "We're very sorry. Our dragon usually flies, but he is currently injured and is unable to take to the air. We apologize for his. He's not used to being on the ground a great deal of the time."
Yeah, well, why aren't you, you know, so it doesn't mean you still can't take the, you know, take the cart path.
We will in the future. We will.
I didn't realize there was a cart path.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
will
know.
stay to the cart pass from now on.
He looks at you and he says, "I've never seen you before." He says,
I've never seen you either.
and he looked, okay, he's getting very impatient now.
Okay.
Yay, pissing
You,
people off.
you can see him just about to stamp his little foot. Like, don't make me point at the sign. Yeah.
I mean, we
How
should
can we
back
help?
off.
How can we help you, sir?
He looks at you and he says, "Okay." He says, "I want a raise of hands. How many of you are Oddards?" Tom raises his hand.
Put your paw back down.
I do not know what an otter is. I mean, aside from like a woodland a creature, but I don't think that's what you're saying. So I don't know what you mean by otter.
We're unfamiliar with the term, sir.
He says, "Not Otter, Oddard." You know.
Do I know what the word means?
Yeah. He looks at you very strangely. He says, "How can you not know what an Oddard is?"
Bruce,
That's
we know
why
the
you're
language. What does
here.
it mean?
That's why you're here. That's the only reason you would be here.
You mean a pilgrim?
Pilgrim?
That's what the other town called us.
He looks. He's looking around. He says, Are you all Oddards?" Oh
Can you
my
type the
God.
word in the chat, please?
Sure. Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
I thought we got the language on this when we came to this world. Is this a word that's only used in this particular town?
Oddard. Oh, okay.
It's a
Or
Oddard. Okay.
Or do we only know the language if we know the term in our own language?
Thank
So
you.
words and stuff we
is-
haven't heard of don't translate?
no, it's you understand the term. The term Oddard is somebody who's really odd,
No.
who is constitutionally odd.
that makes more sense. Thank
From
you.
what we understand of your terminology, I would have to say that that term definitely applies to most of us.
Angelica looks offended.
He says, and you don't have you don't have anybody along who come along with you to shepherd you to the city of Whizz?
No.
No.
Now he stops his. That's terrible. That's awful. How could they?
I say, well,
He says, I
Okay.
suspect the dark is going to get a large infusion very shortly.
I certainly hope
Is that
not.
a threat? Is that a
It's just wrong that someone would send a bunch of Oddards across, across the land with no one to assist them, and certainly none to explain their situation to anybody you came across. It's just wrong.
Oh.
All right. He says, listen, get off of my my field.
Props.
Please get off of my field and do not wander
we'll
in
do that.
anybody else's
Okay,
field. Okay.
Fine. We will do that, and I gotta take a break.
Which way do we go to the cart path?
Okay. just look. It's off to your left about 30 feet.
Okay. I
Just
step
I will go
gently
there.
through the. I will tiptoe through the whatever it is.
Through the tulips.
It, it wasn't like a really nice, it wasn't like cobblestone or anything like that. It was just, a thing that was mostly just, it didn't have plants growing up in them. It was more like, you might have thought it was a fire break or something else. It was just a separation between two sets of fields and, a gully, maybe where water would flow through when it rained or something, if it ever rains. But anyways, the you can see that when you look at it, there are some signs that there are some ruts and things like that. It's been compacted, in that area. So, anyways, you see that there's like more people coming out of their fields and starting to converge on you. And this guy's like just follow me. I'll lead you over to the tower. Though it says it's not going to be big enough for your dragon, because that wasn't a word in their language.
It is now.
Yeah.
At least he didn't try to insult.
Actually, that's a funny thing. They don't have a word for dragon, but the people in the dark did.
People in the dark didn't have a word for cow, but this group does.
Yeah, you're seeing that there are words that are understood in the dark. So the thing is that you're running into a situation where you're getting all the words, but there's people there who don't understand some of the things you're saying because those things don't exist where they are.
Okay.
It's like if you talked about kangaroos, you know about kangaroos, but it might, and it's in the English language, but it might not be in the English language if you were in some place in 1700s. It might not be in the language there. You see what I'm saying? So you're running into some regional differences between language.
So
Bruce,
when we were teleported here, then did we get a different version of the language that
No,
didn't have
you
these
didn't.
words?
No, I'm just saying is that he doesn't use the word dragon. You understand what the dragon means, but I think it said the word dragon referring to Dom, but at which point he would have been confused by that statement, not knowing what that. So he can refer to it as your beast.
Okay.
So
All right, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
All the time we've been moving, has the sun been moving through the sky?
Not at all.
Okay. Mike says, I think I know what's going on here.
The fact that they're crazy.
That makes one of us.
All right. We are on a tidally locked planet. One side always faces the sun, the other side does not. We were on the other side of the planet before. That's the only thing that's why the sun does not move. It's always in the same place in the sky.
Does that mean you also have no stars or moon?
Generally, you can't. A planet does not have to have a moon, and stars you won't be able to see during the daytime.
But we couldn't see any in the dark, and it wasn't daytime in the dark.
Well, that would mean that there's a twilight zone then, too.
Yes, that is correct.
And that's the wizard Serling.
Go to your cage, says Mike. Go to your cage.
Get on the dragon. That's your punishment.
That's it. Okay, yeah. All right. So can we move Dom off the crops into the area where there are no crops?
Well, as I said, is that he can certainly walk in that area, but he's going to do damage, because he's too wide to walk that path without doing something.
Can he take Angel? Can Dom take off? Says Mike.
We can.
Well, he's going to land.
It is not easy.
Can he land on the area where there's no crops?
He can take off and glide over to where the pillar is, but you're not quite sure what's going to be there when he gets there.
good answer. Yeah.
I think we should just do as little damage as possible and walk down
Okay.
the yellow dirt road.
All right. We'll try to stay. We'll stay on the cart paths and try to make it over to the tower. We'll try to keep minimize damage.
If all else fails, we Dom and I can always just go back. Can always just stay back. And we'll just hang out over here. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll hang out.
We're not going to divide the party up. No, just come along.
Okay, so you guys, and like I said, as you go along, you start gathering basically a lot of people. By the time you get pretty close to the tower, and of course you hear this, sound as these big metal discs basically resonate. You've gotten 21 people with you.
Oh wow!
Don't step on the vegetables,
including children.
And they're all behind us, I'm assuming.
Some of them are actually walking through the fields, but they're being careful to step over the growing plants and things like that. There's
Mike says we have a fan club.
Or the dragon.
And you're overhearing them saying things like, he says it's a whole bunch of otters, and they don't have any chaperones. They just wandered here from the woods. Everyone's like, how could that be possible? And some of them are coming up to you saying, Mister, where are you from?
A land far, far away.
I may end up kicking a child.
That's Mike. A land.
All right.
Petrova is
Do
not
any of
happy.
you? All right. Do any of you, as you go along, have any particular questions you might want to ask any of these people that are moving along with you? Most of them are actually out of the fields. They're just following along behind Dom's tail that keeps wagging back and forth, but not.
Susan asked someone, "Excuse me, but who's in charge here?"
Charge? Well, that would be the caretakers up on in the city.
Up there?
That's who we've come to see.
I'm sure that's true. He says he says, I don't know what they're going to do with your beast, but you're welcome to go up there.
He's a person.
He's my partner.
I mean, you say he can fly. I mean, perhaps he can fly and somehow catch one of the, catch one of the,
Disc?
disc B or disc A.
Hmm.
Well, it was difficult for him to
Interesting.
fly, so.
So I mean,
while we're
that's
here.
I can't see any way that. I mean.
Yeah, he's probably not going to make it up the stairs.
I mean,
No.
I would be afraid with those claws of his that if he flew up and landed on top of the cap, he might cause some damage. But that would probably be the I mean, that would be a possibility. I don't know. I mean, we don't.
Susan says we'll
We
figure
don't have,
something
I've never
out.
seen a beast so large. He doesn't seem to have. He doesn't have normal wings.
No.
In other words, they're not feathered.
Yes.
So.
Okay. All right.
Anyways, he says, but and of course it would be really, really bad idea if he was to crash into the into the walkway up to the top.
That's a matter of opinion at this point.
Okay.
Anyways,
All right.
yeah. So, but maybe he should just stay down here on the bottom for a while until someone figures out what to do with him.
Mike says, Angel P, are you on the comms?
I am not.
You're on comms, right?
Nope.
Oh, that is not good.
I mean,
all right.
I have one, but it kind of broke.
Oh, that's not good. All right. Okay.
Hey, if
How
all else
long
fails,
does that last?
if all else fails, I stay down at the bottom with Dom, and then just possibly patiently or impatiently wait for you guys to come back.
Okay.
Or possibly impatient.
Yeah. Susan says if there's an emergency, I'll let you know.
All right.
All right. Okay. So the 6 of us head
Hold
into
it.
the tower.
I'm gonna ask them some stuff. I say, are those real buildings up there?
Of course they're real.
But they're sideways.
Yeah.
So won't they fall?
How could they fall? They don't have any weight.
They're buildings without weight. Do people live in them?
Of course they do. You're going to be living in them very shortly.
I wouldn't
My
even know how to get there. I mean, we go into the tower, but are there passages to those things?
Going to go up the stairs, up to the top, and then you're going to go from the cap down the arm until you get to disc A or disc B. It's your choice, of course. Well, not really, but wherever there's space.
Chen Wei. When
Yeah.
something spins, it creates
Inertia.
not per se artificial gravity,
Well,
but it creates force.
some, but that still means you can fall off.
Well, just like you could fall off of the top of a building. It
So you
creates force which exerts outwards, which holds you down, thus similar to magnetic gravity, but this is called
you're saying
centrifugal gravity.
So you're saying you fall one way and it makes you fall a different way, and it combines so you don't fall.
Have you ever used a sling before where you put the rock in the cup and you swing it around?
Yeah.
It doesn't just fall out because you're swinging it around.
Well, it's because I'm swinging it around really fast, so it gets, swung around more and pushed more than it would fall.
Okay, I'm going to clear this up for you. Magic.
Okay. I thought it was supposed to be science, though, but
It is a
unless it's
combination of
actually
both.
got a wizard in it.
Science is magic to some people.
Apparently, it has otters in it.
In a Chen way.
So we get to the column, I assume.
Well, okay, so yeah, you're there, all right, and
We're looking at the stairwell that goes 500 feet up in the air.
Well, nearly. It goes up to like 30 feet from the top. There is a silver metal cap that is, like 100 feet wide and about in diameter and about 20 feet high from down the length of it.
And that's
attached
what's
to the
spinning
sides of this cap are two 20-foot diameter opposing metal arms that reach out 100 feet to either side. And they're attached to the center of a 200-foot wide, slightly concave metal disc that's held rigidly at 90 degrees to the ground. And this entire thing rotates smoothly and completely on top of the pillar each 2.4 seconds.
So it's spinning pretty fast.
Spinning pretty fast, and it's and the top of the cap is about 500 feet above the ground.
And how do you make the transition from the stairwell to the cap without blending yourself?
I don't think you would be able to see that from here.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a little too far up there.
You got to jump up and catch
Susan says it's the tilt-a-whirl.
Kinda, without the tilt, just a lot of whirl.
Sure.
And it's moving at vomitous speed. It's got to move pretty quick to generate 1 gravity or whatever they're working
1G,
at.
that's correct. Yeah.
And it might be less, but
Okay.
it doesn't
All
seem
right.
to be 1G coming down, pulling us down either. That
Do we see any other people here?
I told you that there were people that were doing maintenance
Oh, okay.
on this
Sorry.
this
Anyone
wooden
looks like
framework.
they're in charge
And there's
or
lots of
anything?
people around you that are basically they were working the fields or doing other things, and they've come to
Right,
see
right.
these strangers, these very odd otters,
Otters.
Okay.
who have come to the city.
We are odd
Okay.
Otters.
Did we climb the stairs yet, or we did
You have
not?
not climbed
No,
the
we have
stairs.
not
You're
even
currently
Let's
at the
start
base.
heading up the stairs.
You're at the base.
Let's start going up.
Okay.
I guess for now, Susan, or not Susan, Angel, will you and Dom hang here and we'll see what the situation is and then let you know what's going on.
Gotcha.
We'll see if it's a possible way to get him up there or
If we could get him up there, then we could get down by gliding.
yeah.
That's true.
But that's an if scenario. So go, have fun.
Mike says these people need to invent magic elevator.
Yeah, that would help.
Donk.
I'd hate to have to like move furniture up and down this thing.
You also hear, now that you're closer, you also hear music coming from one of these discs.
Interesting.
That kind of Dopplers as the disc whirls around the column.
Is it instrumental?
It sounds instrumental.
Someone's
it's
playing an
intentional.
instrument. Okay. Should be interesting.
Ooh, everything about this is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Climb.
Let's see. So it would probably take us a while, and it would be very exhausting to go up 500 feet on steps.
Oh yeah.
Because it's more than 500 feet because we're spiraling around a
100-foot
foot diameter, which is
100-foot wide post. Yeah.
right.
500
So
foot
we're
tall.
looking at, let's see, circumference would be 2 pi r squared or whatever.
Right. Circumference is
It'd be 2 pi r.
2 pi r.
So it's 100-foot diameter. So
it's
314 circumference.
And then depending upon the slope, it would be we got a long walk ahead of us.
It's 3.14, so 3 times 100, which would be about 600 feet around.
All right.
And then you have to go up 500 feet.
Yeah.
So it's quite a trek.
Oh.
About a mile or so.
Really, just that far? Okay.
Well, miles 5,000 feet.
Yeah.
100.
What's your vertical lift?
Oh God, I can't do this math in my head.
Okay, we're going up 500 feet. So
300 feet around at probably 20 foot, 15 foot increments as you go around, or
I would say, why don't you make it easier for yourself and say it's 1 foot every 10 feet?
okay.
So that's 500 feet. And then therefore it would be,
Well, each step would be about 6 inches up.
yeah, but that's why I said 10 feet.
All right. Okay.
So, but anyways, if you're doing that, then that would be 500 times 500 divided by 10 is 50. So that's and times. Oh man, I'm not doing the math either myself. Okay, I can do this. I just can't. I'm just thinking of everything
All
else.
right.
in the
Okay.
game. Okay. Anyways, the point is this: it's a long. It's a trip.
long
Okay,
way.
it's going to take a number of hours probably to climb this.
Mhm.
But obviously these people do it all the time, so it's not that bad.
And it's going to be exhausting because you're also,
Yeah.
It'll work your butt, your glutes. Well, I get my steps in today.
Yeah.
It'll make you work your everything.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's it's also obvious that these people carry stuff up to the top too, too.
Wow.
So anyways.
You guys are hardcore.
Hardcore parkour.
I bet their butts are like drums.
Well, they say that the legs on women from Pittsburgh are the best in the world because of all the hills.
Yeah.
Also,
And
congratulations.
having grown up in there, I can tell you there's some pretty fine calves in Pittsburgh.
Congratulations.
Ooh.
That quote is forever recorded.
Pretty fine calves in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
No, I meant just...
All right. So,
Oh my God.
several hours later.
Right.
Yeah, bro.
Okay. So you guys climb on up. All right.
Several
And you get
self-depreciating.
people wave at you. They give you water as you go along if you need it.
Oh, thank you.
Because
Thank you.
they're working
Thank you.
on stuff. Mostly what they're doing is they're checking
Oh.
the condition, making it's really more of a safety thing than anything else, making sure that nothing's cracked or whatever. And so they're it's and you get all the way up to the top, and a couple of them see you doing this and they just start following along with you because obviously you need to get to the place you need to go. So
I hope you're going to make a wrong turn.
Yeah, you get up to the top and you can see, like I say, there's this disc that's zipping around above you. Okay, and so what they do is they say, all right, you see that it's almost it's basically like rattan. They created like a rattan tunnel. For there's two things they have. They have one. There's the basket that is attached. Okay, and with a winch on the top, so that they basically someone can go climb up to the top of the cap, and at which point then they can go and use this winch to lower you and this thing down over to where where one of these arms are. Okay, the other one is where and possibly supplies. The other one is literally a rattan wickerwork ladder that's basically 100 foot long, which is basically go down to the disc on one side or the other. All right, and they go look at you and they say, okay, so we weren't expecting you. So there's a total of 6 of you, right?
Yes.
Well,
Okay.
we left some of them down below. So.
Well, how many is there?
2 down below. The dragon and.
How many of you are there?
Total of 8.
I'm asking as the GM because the guy can obviously use his eyes.
8. There are 8 of us.
8 of you
that's
there.
fine.
Is that including the dragon and
There are
Ryan?
6 of us here and 2. There are 6 of us.
Okay,
Here.
so there's 6 of you. All right, so we need to send. Okay, are any of you husband and wives?
No.
Absolutely
No.
not.
No.
So you're going to need to live in separate dwellings. Okay, fine. All right. All right. So 3 of you is going to go to A, and 3 of you is going to go to B.
Is there a possible way we can stay together?
Well,
Nearby.
if you could convince some people to move to the other side, then that would be possible. But I doubt it. You Oddards are pretty set in your ways. So, but that's the way we normally do things around here. Right now, there's 19 Oddards.
Well, we need to stay together.
Is there like a welcome center here?
We're at the welcome center.
Oddards take care of their own.
Are you
All right,
an otter?
what?
Are you an otter?
No, I have family members who are otters. That's why I'm here. I'm here to take care of them.
You ever dated an otter?
No, I have not. Why are you looking for somebody?
No, I was just curious.
That's also very common for otters.
Do you have
I
a
guess-
map of this place? Oh, sorry.
You can kind of see it, right? It's right there. I mean, the discs are only 200 feet across. How much of a map do you think you need?
I don't know.
10. As I say.
I'm sure you'll be able to find your way. Everyone's a little bit nervous when they first get here, okay? But I assure you that it'll be fine. You just, it's nothing you haven't experienced before, and except that, of course, that whole zipping around business, which I have been told that otters find very reassuring. So. All right. Well, then you need to pick. Which do you want? You want A or B?
We'll go with A.
Okay. The music, by the way, is coming from B.
All right. Okay.
Does that affect your answer in any way?
Susan says I'll take B.
Okay, so you are going to split the party. All right.
We will. Yeah.
Well, what's the difference?
Music.
There's obviously differences in architecture and things like that. They're obviously not like mirror images of each other.
All right.
All right.
So what's the difference between A and B, sir? Pam?
Just the people that you'll run into there.
What's the music coming? What is this music? that
Oh,
we're hearing?
well, yes, there's a group of a band.
Well,
A group
then
of
we'll go to
otters
that.
that play together fairly regularly. And they've even done some rather interesting things with air-powered musical instruments.
Fascinating.
Yes.
Yes,
I guess we'll
Susan.
do. Can we change our vote to B to A, the music side?
Oh, absolutely. That's fine with me.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. I'll just have to make sure we send anybody new who comes along after you over to A.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Well,
Are you happy, Susan?
all right. Now, you understand that you are essentially you're coming here to stay, and food and supplies will be provided to you. There is, he points at like some of the ropes that are going down. There is a mail service, and you can write messages and requests, and they're pulled up on a regular basis, and you can always there's a bell on each end that you guys can ring if there's an emergency, and we'll don't worry about that. This is now your home, and you should be it's basically for the rest of your days, and just
I asked,
What-
what are the fees or taxes?
there are no.
So
Okay, there
Otters
are.
come here forever?
Neither of those words, by the way, neither of those words are in their vocabulary. Is in the language of these people.
otters come here for their entire life.
Yes. Once you are clearly declared to be an otter, this is the place for you. This is your sanctuary. No one will think poorly of you here. You don't have to be constantly worrying about offending people and making mistakes. Everything that you've done is all forgiven, and you are welcome here. It is a supportive community for otters of all types.
May we leave?
No.
Are people
Yes, we're here for life.
Yeah, well, are people here permitted to leave?
You are permitted to leave as long as you have a chaperone to accompany you, so that you don't get into trouble.
Can you clarify what an otter is?
An otter is a person who finds themselves constitutionally incapable of living in concord in the community in which they were born and or have moved to.
And this is the city of Whizz, right?
This is the city of Whizz, so named by the Oddards themselves.
And the see, they're not just pilgrims, like for whatever
Well,
reason.
the pilgrims would be the people bringing the Oddards to the city.
Okay.
Not really the Oddards themselves, not yourselves. Okay. And this is not a prison in any sense. This is a safe place. This is a place where you can be who you really are without having to worry about anybody judging you or being offended by you, and you having to worry about doing something wrong and finding yourself cast out into the dark.
Mm.
Hmm.
You will find forbearance here. Even more so than in your community. I'm sure you all understand how hard it's been. You
Yeah.
wouldn't be here otherwise.
Right.
We want you to know that this is a place where you can finally relax and be happy. And not afraid all the time.
Is there a place where we can find out about the other communities that are not for otters?
I don't know where such a place would be. I mean, you could ask. We know where. We do keep a record of people who come here and the communities they're from and how far away they are and things like that. But it's not like there's any kind of a central census of any kind.
Uh-huh.
Everyone lives in harmony with each other. There's no need for that. If you find your skills are redundant, then I guess you could, move to another place where your skills would be more valuable. But generally speaking, every community has their own people, mostly descendants. And of course, they need to be of a certain size for health reasons. It's not like anybody would harm you. I mean, if they did, of course, they'd go straight into the dark.
Hmm.
So do not worry. Put your mind at ease. No one is you. This is not a prison. No one is going to keep you here. But it's not. It would not be right for you to just wander the landscape without anybody to care for you, because you might cause someone to react in such a negative way that they might sin, and that would be wrong, right?
Good.
You understand
Sure.
why that would be wrong. You don't want to inadvertently send somebody to the dark, do you?
No.
Absolutely not. No, of course not.
In my head, I think
How-
maybe some of
how-
my
how do
girlfriends.
people-
And that's why you're here, though. I really don't understand what happened to your pilgrims, to your chaperones. I mean,
Oh, he
that
got
makes
hit by
no
a
sense
hyena.
at all.
You say
But
that
anyway,
about
now that you're here, you should all just get settled in, and we'll of course we'll of course go and make you some houses to live in. Because I don't think there's enough, but I'm sure that some of the other otters will be glad to take care of you for a while. And if worst comes to worst, you can just just bed down in the open somewhere. It's not like you're going to run into bad, it's not like anything's going to happen to you.
That's true.
And of course, there'll be plenty of food and water,
May I speak with my companions for a moment before we head
Sure.
up?
Well, you're all getting, yeah, I mean, before you make the last step, so to speak.
Right. All right, guys.
Yeah,
We can step off to the side a little bit.
All right.
speaking
All right,
English,
group
I guess.
What?
I said
Group
speaking
huddle.
English.
Yes. So, what do we think of this?
I think as long as they're not actually keeping us here, I mean, we probably want to talk to some of the otters here to find out about the world. I
Yeah.
mean, this guy isn't going to be much use, but there may be other people here who could be much use, especially if they had to flee their homeland, and this is the only sanctuary they could come to. We could find out about what the other places are like by talking to them.
Yeah, sounds like a
All
plan.
right.
And how are we going to get the dragon up here?
I don't think we will.
How are we going to feed the
I would
dragon?
tend to agree. Yeah, that's the important point.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
we may have to say, okay, we have a friend of ours who's down there and you can see him. And I don't know if you can build a house for him, but can you get some food for him? And they may say no, but you got to ask.
At this point, I'm pretty sure Petrova is not past letting him eat people, so we may want to do something quickly.
Yeah.
Well, that'll send you to the dark.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
ask
send him to the dark.
as soon as you can, where we can get some food for the dragon.
All right. I thought we were going to meet the people who run this place, says Susan.
I agree.
I don't know
with
what
that.
to
I thought we would
expect.
too.
Susan walks back to the main guy. We were supposed to meet the ones who are in charge of this place.
Well, there really isn't anyone in charge. I mean, we get together every morning and we discuss the jobs that need to be done to support this place before, and other members of our families, go out and do what needs to be done in the fields and the animals and things like that. And we do receive shipments from some of the surrounding communities whenever they have extra food or whatever to help,
Right.
provide for the people here. But
Okay.
I wouldn't really say there's anybody, in charge. I mean, maybe there's some in charge of, some of the Oddards are in charge of their disc, and maybe they have, something like that, but we don't tell the Oddards how to live their lives. I mean,
Okay.
that's the whole point of this place, is that none of us feel competent to understand the mind of an Oddard. Therefore, they basically live their lives in not isolation, but in separation.
How often do otters show up?
Oh, rarely. It's a few,
This is a big.
a few a year at the most.
So this is a big event.
All you people? Oh, absolutely. 6 at a time? My goodness.
Sure.
And
All
though
right.
I don't know what we're going to do with that huge beast down there.
Oh, he's a person.
Well, that beast person, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We're going to have to think long and hard about how to get him up onto one of the discs.
We're working on it.
Okay.
Well, we do need to get him fed, and he eats animals.
Okay. How many animals?
You have a cow or
Sure.
like one that doesn't produce milk anymore, or maybe a steer?
Yes.
He'll
but,
eat that.
I mean, most things like that are, used to produce more cows and steers and such, but,
Yes.
we'll I mean, if he's going to stay here and he only eats meat, then we're going to have to send them. We're going to have to send the word out to the surrounding communities that they're going to need to start providing a lot more meat than they have been. Maybe does he eat fish?
We've known him to
There
eat
are
fish.
some large lakes that are, a few days, journey away that might be able to provide a steady supply of meat to such a creature. We'll certainly we'll certainly do everything we can. I mean, obviously, I mean, how did you manage to get here without? I mean, how much does he eat?
A lot.
I mean, like 100 pounds a day.
More like 300 pounds a day.
Yeah, like like basically the weight of a full person, huh? Which is not what he said. He said it was more like 4 or 5. So, but
like six of
it also depends on how active Dom is. Dom's sitting around doesn't. He is a lizard. Therefore, his metabolism can go into kind of a low state. Like if he does a lot of sleeping, he can. But in the meantime, but when he's really active, he eats a lot and very regularly. Flying takes a lot of power. But anyways, so we were like, okay, that's we're gonna have to send a message out almost immediately. We're gonna have to send a message off right away if they're gonna be able to get there for the day end ceremony. We don't want anybody to miss that.
Certainly not.
Right. So he goes and he basically reaches over and pulls out basically a clipboard with some homemade paper on it, and he starts writing stuff onto it. Basically is like this the beast person needs this much meat every day. Send runners to, and he lists a bunch of towns and also the wharf at so and so to each of them to bring a day's worth of food as soon as possible. And he basically takes it and he folds it up and he puts it rolls up pieces of a ceramic thing in it, puts it into a basket, and he just drops it off the side, with a rope. It goes zzz, through this leather glove, goes zzz, and he just stops it at the end, and it's at the bottom. And somebody, it's got a lot of jingles jangles on it, like shiny bits and stuff. So somebody down at the bottom sees it coming down and goes running over, waves up, gives some kind of a signal, and he waves back. Says they'll take care of it. Don't worry.
Okay, good.
We wouldn't let anybody starve. Now,
Sure.
Says it's a shame your beast person can't eat vegetables and other things, because we certainly have lots of that. Most people who live here eat primarily a diet that's high in non-meat, but certainly there's meat.
Could he go to the lake and get the fish himself without, violating laws about, taking the country's fish without a permit?
Well, somebody could, as an immediate-ish solution, that might be a good solution if he can fish for himself. But it's no long-term solution. I mean, if he's an otter, he needs to be here. But it would be a good stopgap measure until we can set up the supply lines we need in order to make sure that there's going to be a ready supply of of food for him here at the city of Whizz.
Now, if we were to leave for a while, and if he would be coming with us, would there be a problem with you having to throw away any food that you bring that he doesn't eat because he's somewhere else?
Why would you leave?
If it were to happen, would this be a problem?
We could dry food, you know. We can put up, you know, drying stations to dry the food. So I don't think that would be a problem unless he doesn't have a problem with eating dry meat, does he?
Right, I'm not asking about.
We can moisturize it again, you know. We can. Like,
No, I'm not
Sure.
asking about drying the food for him coming back. I'm saying, like, if he would leave for a couple days and the food were to build up, would you just have to throw it out?
I just told you we would.
Okay.
We would dry the food to preserve it.
Makes
I mean,
sense.
if it's does he eat stews?
Is he?
I don't know. Is Angel there?
No, she's down at the bottom.
Petrova is at the bottom.
I'm not sure you know that. I don't know if you know the answer.
I
I don't know.
Most of the time you see him eating basically raw food.
Do we
Well,
have
so you don't know the
communicators?
answer to that question. So he's like,
Do we have
well,
communicators,
if
though?
he can eat stew, of course, we can always just put a big cauldron of stew out for him. And as long as you keep it above a certain temperature, it never goes bad.
Interesting.
Which is something that you guys who have skills in survival should know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's keep it like above 150 degrees, and you just keep adding to it forever. You have the forever stew.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so he says, so you guys ready to go meet your new neighbors?
Yep.
Sure.
All right.
Let's get her done.
Okay, so you can see that there, you know, on each of these arms, these metal arms, there's basically a log framework around each one, all the way from the cap all the way to the bottom. Okay. Also, at the bottom, there's actually a wicker, like a giant wicker basket thing that basically goes from the arm all the way out to the edge of the discs. That basically, so you can't see really well what things are like down there, but I mean it's you know it's obvious, and you can see that this these things that they send out, you know, and the covered ladder just goes down through that wicker cover, you know, down to the base of that. You know, so you're in the sunlight as it is, it's not that hard to see. It just, you know, at the distance that it is, which is 100 feet, it's you know, you can see that there's, you know, hard to see things. So they're moving by so fast. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you know, trying to look at people. And you know, if somebody was inside of a screen porch and they were moving by, you know, at 180 miles an hour, and you were standing still, you might have trouble seeing what kind of game they were playing. Yeah.
Or
Sure.
staring at a train car going by. You know?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Exactly.
Oh wait, never mind.
Yeah. It's really, you know, so I'm just saying is so this, you can tell that there's things in there, and you know, and of course, you know, it comes by every 2.5 seconds, so you get another look, you know. This there are solutions to this problem, which I'm going to leave you to figure out, you know, if you care to figure them out. But anyways, he's saying, okay, so what you got to do, you know, he says you just basically just climb up here, okay, and you know, and what you need to do is you just need to, you know, when it, you know, get up basically the top is a little ladder here, and there's this open space, okay, but I mean it's, you know, you're not going to fall off, okay? So you just simply have to go up and just grab, you know, just reach up, grab the ladder, pull yourself inside so that the wrappings around you, and then just turn yourself and just start and work your way down. I mean, you're going to be, and there's a label in there, B or A, so you know you're going in the right direction.
Okay.
But don't. It should be fine. If you have any kind of vertigo, it's just keep your eyes shut and just climb it. You only have 2.5. You don't have very long to grab it. Okay, so you have to just reach up and grab it and pull it. And if you make a mistake, okay, we'll just grab you and pull you back down. We'll just try again. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, we're going to help you. We're just going to grab you on either side, and we're just going to shove you up in that hole. And you just grab on, and it'll be fine.
All right.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
We're all gonna die.
Okay. I'll
Susan's
go.
gonna
Susan.
die.
Susan's gonna die. Here we go. Okay. Susan's gonna die.
Again.
All right. Susan prepares to die again. All right.
Oh no.
All right.
Susan says, "Oh no, not again."
Yeah. Okay. So you grab onto the thing, you head to B, and then you go through the hole.
Okay, so who's first?
Susan.
Susan? Okay.
Susan.
Yes.
All right. So they grab her on both sides, and they say, okay, do you have vertigo? You have trouble, Says, remember, there's this platform on the bottom sticks out 30 feet all the way around it. Okay, so it's not like you're like hanging over the abyss.
I don't have vertigo at the moment.
All right,
said
all right.
Susan.
Just as this thing
Will for the
zips
rest of your
around,
life.
you just want to make sure that you grab it at the right time. If you don't, and if there's, because as soon as you grab, I mean, we're going to let go of you as soon as we throw you up in there. Okay,
All right.
so
Okay. Very good.
But I'm just saying is that if you let go, you're just going to fall back on the platform. You're not going to go, and it's not going to be bad. You understand?
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Okay. So, all right. So they grab you, they throw you up, give you a dex check, and give you an agility check.
All right. Here we go. All right. Okay. 10.
Excellent roll. Okay. So
Yay.
basically, they throw you up there, and as they do that, you get that sinking pit in your stomach feeling, that nauseous feeling that you've experienced before.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
And you grab onto it, and that feeling gets worse, and then it gets better. Okay. And you realize that you are practically weightless.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
I've
can
been
literally
weightless.
move around inside there, and it's like effortless. I mean, you can hold on to like the post with with one hand, and just you're practically dangling there.
Oh wow. Okay. All
Okay.
right. Okay. I'm weightless.
I mean, you're
All
basic.
right.
You're okay. I mean, you probably
All right.
weigh. How much does Susan normally weigh?
Susan normally weighs 480. No. Susan normally
You're
115.
hilarious. What?
115. 115.
Okay, 115.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. So
She is a petite girl.
yes. All right. Let me see here.
Oh wait, so Susan is about 10 pounds heavier than Angelica.
That is correct.
Yeah, because Angelica is 105.
Oh God, the girls are going at it already about weight.
No, I was just
Susan's probably got more muscles than
yeah, that's most
Angelica has.
probably why.
Yeah, her D8 strength basically. Yeah.
Yeah, her D8 strength versus Angelica's D6. So.
Yep.
Okay, Susan, you feel you can't, of course, know how much you weigh, but basically you feel like you weigh as much as, I don't know, like if you were holding a gallon of water in one hand.
Okay. All right.
That's how much you feel like you weigh.
8 pounds. All right.
8 pounds more, you mean?
No, that's all you weigh.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right.
So as you can
I'm
see, it's not hard. You could literally do this hand over hand
sure. Okay.
without
So
even using your feet.
so
it's
the
easy enough for you
gravity
to do.
up here is there, but the gravity from the ground has been shielded off.
Not sure.
I'm not prepared to answer that question. I mean, you definitely still feel like there is gravity pulling you in a direction, but
Right.
at the same time, you're also spinning. So
Mhm.
there's that happening.
Okay,
So
I go.
there's a
Okay.
force that's pushing you slightly toward the outer part, that would be away from the pillar
Sure.
of the tunnel you're in.
Okay, so how do I get to the buildings?
You just simply go down the ladder that's
I'm going
attached
down
to
the
it.
ladder.
Yeah,
All
see,
right, here we
basically the
go.
ladder they start off like side, like right along the thing, and then it curves slightly.
All
So
right.
now you feel yourself being pressed against the ladder just slightly. But
All
like I
right,
said, it's
okay.
like you're barely touching it. You can just simply
Wow. Zip, zip, zip.
scamper, literally scamper down to the bottom.
Okay. All right.
And you
Scamper
feel
down
like
to the
you could
bottom.
probably just slide, or I mean, it slides. You no longer have a sense. Down now seems to be like toward the ladder.
All right. Okay. So I'm heading
Okay.
down the ladder.
Heading down the ladder, you go and you get to the bottom, and it has an opening at the bottom, and you step
Okay.
out, and you see, a whole bunch of people who are all sitting there playing all kinds of musical instruments, who like, who nod at you because they're playing musical instruments. There's one guy who has this big contraption that he's pulling levers on, and as he does, this big set of horns are all blasting different notes, and you see there's this pipe that's going, off, in a direction toward the outer part, toward the outer edge of the disc. And all around you, you see there's these small buildings, not more than a story tall,
Okay.
that are all around, and there's a lot of people that are just sitting there, listening to the music. And you see there's not many people. I mean, altogether, there's a total, half of the people on this thing are playing music right now. So you see
All right.
a few other people that are either listening to the music or they're somewhere else, and they're doing other things. So anyways,
Okay.
there's lots of space here.
Lots of space. Okay.
And
I report back to the party
yeah,
that I made
and
it.
downward is towards your feet, by the way.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good then. All
Yeah,
right.
but you feel like it's you still have that slightly nauseous feeling, okay? But you just you feel like a very springy step, put it that way.
Okay. The feeling I get when I go through a fringe portal.
You feel like you could just leap up and grab that wicker netting that's over top of you.
Oh, wow.
That seems to be acting as a protective layer around the disc, possibly to keep people from accidentally jumping off of it.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Very, very good.
It was, except for that, like that feeling, that kind of, slightly nauseous feeling, which you felt on and off many times as you've been here on this portal, either in the light or
this particular world.
This particular world. Like when you were on the elevator that was going up and down, you felt it, various times when you were rappelling down the side. Certainly any time that sometimes when you accelerated hard when you were up in the dirigible. So I'm just saying, even on the ground, if you suddenly jumped, you got startled and jumped to a direction, you kind of got that kind of a queasy feeling.
Sure.
And you feel it very, fairly constantly now, but it's not bad. It's more like I said, it's like a medicine head kind of feeling.
Okay.
It's a kind of a dissociated, bubble-headed. I just don't feel like I'm solidly rooted anywhere.
Right.
Oh, like when I take Zyrtec.
Yes,
there you
very
go.
much like a drug-induced feeling. Yeah. Okay. So you go and tell these people that, hey, nobody tried to kill me.
Yeah, I report back to the party, let them know.
They don't look particularly skinny down here, like, they only eat people.
Oh, okay, very good. Okay.
That standard, like, inbred, hills have eyes, look to them,
Children of corn.
Yeah,
There's no
strangers. We
mutants with
love
horse teeth.
strangers.
If there's a weird-looking kid playing a banjo, I'll get worried.
There probably is. I mean,
Whoa,
they're
no,
playing
no,
musical
no,
instruments.
Warm yesterday.
At least one of them's
Warm
got to be
today.
playing a string instrument.
There you go.
Yeah, all woodwinds would be hell.
You know, there's somebody playing on some kind of a drum thing. You know,
Sure.
something some piece of skin stretched over something.
Well, the Blues Brothers, they aren't, but
But who is?
the Blues Brothers.
They seem these people who are playing seem to be very good at playing whatever instrument they have, as if
Interesting.
this represents a lot of practice for them,
Oh, sure, sure.
and they could even be talented. Who knows?
Could even be
sure.
talented. Okay.
Okay, who's next, guys?
I'll go.
See you in a little bit.
Didn't want to
Ooh, go
gussy
Jason.
up to it. All right, so I just got to jump up in. You're going to push me up into this thing, and I got to grab hold of it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here goes nothing.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, there's like two of these guys. They grab you and they just push you up, and they seem to be doing it fairly well. Like, you know, they seem to be fairly muscular guys.
They know what they're doing.
And you're surprised at how easily they do that. And you're also distracted, of course, because you see these big arms whizzing by
Yeah,
your
I'm like,
head, and you're
okay,
like, I don't want to
I'm
miss
gonna-
get hit by one of them. And
Welcome
you're
to the
like-
human Cuisinart.
But they
There you
already told you that, yeah, because they go by not even every 2 seconds, every second and a half. The whole thing spins every 2.5 seconds, but each
Wow.
arm is going to come by about every 1.5 seconds. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of like get to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I
All
roll
right.
an 8 on my agility plus 2 is
All right.
10.
No problem. You jump up inside the little wicker frame, no problem. Grab on to something, feel that sudden surge of nausea, and then it gets better. And you can see that the platform underneath is zipping by, and you can see the people. Zip, they're there. Then they're there. Then they're there. You know, the people of your party and those guys.
As we come by, I go, I can see my house from here.
Good job.
And
You
I'll
okay?
climb down.
Yeah, they say since you're going by like once every 2.5 seconds, it's
Yeah.
pretty easy for them to carry a kind of it says, go ahead, climb down. So you do, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
I do. I climb
Okay.
down.
So
So
look around there, people.
Watch this. It's a magic trick. Vroom. There's a cat.
Nope,
it didn't
Ken,
work.
I don't understand your question.
There's a cat.
Okay, now, are there like
There's a cat.
streets between these places with people in them?
Well, why don't you get down first, and then we'll have a discussion about that.
That's funny.
Okay, I'm gonna get down.
Okay, so everyone's going to follow step.
Ready? Abracadabra.
You all can basically just make your climb check, and we'll see if anybody like really screws it up.
Yay!
Abracadabra.
Jason.
Apricopocus.
Abracadabra.
No, it's
Hocus cadabra.
abracadabra. She
Okay.
disappears when I turn this way with the
just-
back.
I'll Benny
I
this.
just-
And then I go,
That's
long as
honestly
you
the
didn't roll
only
2
one.
ones.
That's the only
Oh,
one I
okay,
remember
then
from
I'm fine.
Eminem's Houdini song.
No. I mean, if you roll 2 ones, you can't Benny it. But yes,
Right.
if you
Oh,
fail,
yeah.
go ahead and Benny it.
Yeah, Benny, I got a 4.
There you are. It wasn't that hard. All right. So you guys all climb down. Hopefully
I roll a
follow,
4.
because if you go to A and not B, then you're going to end up on a totally different disc. But guess
they're all
what?
boring over there.
You can climb. You can turn around and
Another
climb
4,
back
so-
up and go the right direction. It's not like you're like, oh no, I'm stuck here now. You know, the trap door shuts and they all turn into giant humanoid spiders. No,
Finally.
which is kind of a racist thing to say, because the Mixie are
No,
very
the
nice people.
Mixie.
They're very nice people.
They are.
And
they
you
are
taste good
nice.
with ketchup.
Jason.
You know,
Oh, sorry.
for colony, tribal type people. You know, so yeah.
For the hive
who are perfectly happy living in an absolutely polluted world.
for the hive.
They're also
Polluted by
species.
what? Nuclear waste or pollution?
Just
pollution.
in industry, mostly
Oh, okay.
industry. Yeah, they just
Hmm.
basically
So
they don't
America.
give a damn about their environment.
It's
So
Pittsburgh.
America.
Mm.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pittsburgh, isn't that where they filmed where they did the deer hunter?
Yes.
That's what I
Also, Dawn of the Dead.
Oh yeah.
Also, Innocent Blood.
Okay.
Mm.
Also, that one with Bruce Willis and where he's a
What,
cop.
what,
And
what has Bruce Willis not been in?
well, he was in a lot of stuff.
Wait, Bruce
so-
Willis was a cop? Never.
Cop
No, I
land.
mean he was a cop on the river patrol.
Oh, I thought that was
And-
supposed to be California or New York.
Mm.
No, that was Pittsburgh.
I remember
You're,
that
you're
one.
thinking of Die Hard. He's a cop from New
No,
York.
I'm not talking about
No,
Die
no.
Hard. It's the one.
There's one. What's that called? It had Sarah Jessica Parker in it. or
Yes, Sarah Jessica Parker and Bruce Willis. Yes,
something. There's a
that one.
murder. Yeah. That
I'm
was
just saying is that there's been quite a few movies set in Pittsburgh.
I've never actually.
Yep.
I've driven by it. I've never actually been to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I went to Penzic, which is
Yes, I know right where I've been to
I've been-
Penzic myself. Yes, many
Me
times.
too.
Bruce, aren't you from Pennsylvania?
I'm from
that's what
Pittsburgh.
we were just talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's
I-
where you were born?
I was born in Connecticut, Hartford,
Oh.
Connecticut, and then we moved to Flagstaff, Arizona. Actually, it was.
That's it.
And then my mom got divorced and moved back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where she grew up. And I spent
So
the next.
I didn't know you were.
I spent the
Yankee,
next
too.
16 years there before I went off to college.
Oh wow.
That's where you graduated from high school.
Yep, South Hills High
This
School.
whole time, you never gave off a Yankee accent.
I've
well-
been down. I've been down in Atlanta for 30 years.
That's true.
And I've lived, I mean, I was born in California, went to high school in Montana, basically, that part of my life. And I haven't really lived, and then I lived there for a few years afterwards in both locations. But I've lived in Wisconsin and Georgia.
Mm.
But I've been in Utah for 25 years. No, longer than that, almost 30 years now.
Yeah. You've got that Mormon drawl.
Do I? Do I say, appreciate ya?
Yeah. There
You
you
don't
go.
talk like Mitt
Which is our
Romney.
version of bless your heart.
Mhm.
No, I'm definitely not a Utah.
The only person from Utah I know is Mitt Romney.
Oh, that would be me too, I guess, technically. I don't like admitting I'm from Utah because I would not live here if I had a choice, but
You don't have a choice?
not really.
Okay.
My friend
I
is here,
thought-
so that's why I'm still here.
Oh. I
Cool.
was about to say, doesn't the Constitution allow a freedom of living? Like
Oh, you've never been to
specifically,
Utah, right? We don't have the same constitution that you have.
Oh, okay.
Shit, we just got like 4-point beer recently, so
Right.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Damn.
So, like I said,
Eventually, the party is in the room.
everybody is basically down at the bottom, at the base of that, of that arm. Of course, that arm is very large, so they're basically along they're along the side of what would equivalent be a wall. Okay, which is the arm.
Right.
All right. And
Okay.
around you can see small dwellings that are just basically separated from each other by just open space. There's no roads.
All right.
It's just literally like little cottages.
what's the ground
All right.
like here?
It is the ground is solid metal.
Huh. Well, I guess there's no grass to mow. Kind
Yeah,
of like a senior
that's
living
true.
community.
Yeah. Now, what I didn't describe to you, by the way, is something you would have noticed coming up. And that is that one of the reasons they have this thing built all the way around like they do is the fact is that column, that 500-foot tall column is completely frictionless.
Oh,
Like the
wow.
stuff we
Like the
originally
other
landed
tower.
Like the other
However, this surface is not. It's not frictionless. It's smooth and but it's it definitely, it's no trouble to walk on it.
All right.
I suppose it would be pretty slippery if you were to, and of course the fact that you are very, very light is a bit of a problem, because it's hard to move when you don't get a lot of traction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On
So,
space stations, they usually have
just for
magnetic boots.
game notes, I recorded myself climbing up into the thing and then climbing down and arriving on the platform. So, because
All righty.
IDET's going to really blow their mind when they see this shit. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
anyway.
we're all really light now, Bruce?
Yeah. You weigh, you're sure you only weigh a few pounds.
Hmm.
It's like literally like being it's like being on the moon.
So it's like 1/8 G or something like that.
Yeah.
1/10.
You're definitely having a
1/10.
feeling of being pressed against the floor.
But not very
sort of-
On the
hard.
moon, so like
not very
we're-
hard, no.
We're low gravity.
Yeah, very low gravity.
Okay.
1/10 of a G.
It's just
Yep.
one small step for man, one giant ass for mankind.
Check out my butt.
All right, well, Susan's going to make her way to one of the cottages and try to get some sack time. He said they're furnished, so, you can just go
That
in
means
there,
bed,
find the
right?
bed, and
We got to remember
Yeah, go to bed.
the
Okay.
time.
So nobody's
that
here
was-
to say hi, welcome,
They're
go on over
They're
there.
playing
music.
instruments.
They're playing music right now. Okay,
They're
You wanna
busy.
Wait till they
Let them
finish
have
their
their
set.
All right, the band's going to take a break right now. Everybody tip your waitresses.
And someone
All right,
comes up
very
and says
good.
hi.
Thank
He
you,
says,
Discworld.
welcome to the B side. The B side's always the better one.
Yeah, it's always
But,
the
uh,
song.
well,
that
that is
gets
good.
player
That is
play,
good
but-
to know.
The B side is always better.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the one that never
The
gets
B-side's
airplay.
always
though.
better. Don't he
Yeah,
says
very good.
don't says says we're not like those folk over on the A side.
What are the folk like over on the A side?
They're really strange.
What do you
how
mean by that?
strange.
I mean, they got strange notions.
Like,
Jazz.
Like?
I don't know. I'm not them. I'm myself.
Well, how do you know
so
that they're
are
strange?
you saying they're strange
What?
because other people have told you they're strange?
Yes. And they
Oh.
also admit that they're strange. I admit that I'm strange. He says, well,
So we're all strange.
my name is actually Sotatus.
Which
Sorry.
means,
Goes on tight.
Sotatus.
what is it? What does your name mean?
What do you mean? What does my name mean?
In there's a place where people name John, which means God is gracious. Does your name have like a meaning?
Angelica's looking
Well,
over
let's
at
see if
Ronan
there
like,
is.
what the hell?
Don't mind him. He's strange.
Hmm.
I'm autistic, good sir.
No,
That's
I
your ability.
no.
You can be autistic
okay.
if you want.
It means brave, prosperous, big, fine.
Nice.
Oh, wonderful.
Big
So,
Fine,
so
huh?
what town are you from?
We're making him work.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't prepare
right.
this.
You better remember
I'm
this
from
because he's going to
Shanghai.
test you on it at the end of the game.
And if all else
Yeah.
fails, he can come back and watch the recording. Just gotta find a time. 'Cause
I know his
'cause
brave.
This
What
is-
did he say?
This
I think
is
your
the
name
great
is
city of
Sudio.
Joppa. The great city of Joppa.
Not Chopper the Robot.
Mashed potatoes.
No, that's from Clash of the Titans.
Oh.
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
You admit that freely?
Yes, I do.
The
I do.
stupid owl?
Oh, he was my buddy, man. He was a dude.
Yes.
I was in lust with
I'm
Mick
from
Fleetwood's sister.
Steepgard.
Oh,
Seep guard.
how far away is that?
a long time.
It's right next door. Really? Okay, cool.
It's about 5
It's-
cornfields away.
Or
Sorry.
or if my IRL
It's-
mother-in-law was here, up your ass and to the left off 5th and 3rd Street with no grease.
he says it's about 60 days away.
Got her number?
She's dead.
Oh.
Mm.
About 60 days away.
Awkward.
Lovely. You
Mm.
must have had quite the journey, my friends.
Well, I came here as a younger man, and it's the journey was long, and but it had to be done. I mean, it was obvious that I was never going to fit in Steepguard. They're way too rigid in their thinking.
You would never.
What do you think about it?
What's that?
Bruce, he froze.
What
Bruce,
ideas
he
did
said.
they have that you don't like?
Well, for
Hold on,
example,
Bruce.
they had this. What's that?
You Brazone, you froze. So what did you say before Ken asked?
I was going to say that I firmly believe that that there is an upper melting point for all things.
Ah, okay. You froze for a moment.
All right, sorry. Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
I believe that everything that there are at least 3 states of being for everything that exists.
That is a most
Which one?
interesting theory.
I look to the party members and I
Interesting.
say, this is for your science people.
And I've been conducting experiments to try to prove that.
Oh, well, very
Ooh.
interesting.
How
Okay,
successful have you been?
Well, there have been some rocks that I have not been able to turn into liquids, but there are other rocks that I have.
Mm.
And some things that are not rocks I have been able to turn into liquids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
can
also-
you turn those into gases too?
I've been able to turn them into smoke.
Oh, yeah.
That's a gas.
Yeah.
That is
Oh,
a,
yes, that is true.
That is a chemical reaction.
Have you
all right.
turned them into explosives?
Why is that always your
He
first
looks at
thought?
you and that word he doesn't seem to understand. What do you mean, explosive?
Something that goes boom.
Oh, you mean a closed container heated up sufficiently will cause it to
Rupture.
burst and do something like that?
Yeah.
It's the same sort
with
of
fire.
thing, yes.
He says, no, that never happens.
Okay.
Mm.
Anybody else?
Hmm. Well, I
I
find your
just-
theories extremely interesting.
Yes, I can show that to you, by the way. If no one else, and that's one of the reasons I came here, was I was showing that to people and they were getting very nervous.
Mm.
You know, it's like I
Mm.
was telling them that no, it does. You know, you can take, you can heat up, anything, and they will, it's safe.
I will take your word for it.
Are there people with other strange theories and
Oh,
ideas?
sure. We all have strange theories about one thing or another. So,
Oh.
for example, over there, he points at this woman. Okay, Yanalis. Hey, Yanalis, come on over. They want to find out. They want to hear why you're an Oddard. Yanalis comes over and says, "Well, that's rude. You should ask them for permission. You should ask them for forgiveness for that." And he says, "Why? You are an Oddard, aren't you?" She says, "Yes." Well, why wouldn't they want to know why you're an Oddard?
My curiosity is piqued.
Curiosity, man.
She says, "Okay, I'm sorry for getting cross.
That is all right.
I was surprised. No one's asked me that question for a while."
Okay.
Anyways, Hi, my name is Janilis. And I am a dancer, and I am an inventor of dances.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes,
Oh.
all kinds of dances, and unfortunately, they're very my family and the families around us in our village were very traditional, and they weren't interested in. I invented a word.
Okay.
It says, now this is my word, so you can't share it around, right?
Okay.
It's called syncopation.
Ooh.
Huh. What does it mean?
And she actually gives you a detailed description of what syncopation is, which you probably can't understand.
My brain hurts.
Is it because of your
Yes,
smarts? Hold on.
because she basically tells it to you in math.
Oh, that would definitely
If
make my brain
Susan
hurt.
was here, she could understand
Susan
it.
is here.
Because she
I say
Susan
this
went
is
to
for your
sleep.
science, guys.
Oh,
Susan went to
okay.
get some sack time.
I forgot already.
Susan went to get some sack time.
Anyways, but
She's-
I would be glad, it says, I'll be glad to show you. And she does a little jig for you.
Hmm.
Ooh,
Wow.
nice.
She says, did you see it? Did you see the syncopation?
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah.
It's
Nobody
very,
else
it's
knows
very
how to do that except
syncopation-y.
me.
It's very
Polite
syncopation-y.
applauding.
Golf clap.
Syncopationist.
I have written it
Syncopist.
all down in my journals so that
Mm.
future generations will be able to learn of this marvelous thing.
Incredible.
Yes. However, sadly, it may just become a relic with my family eventually because I haven't found anybody else who really wants to learn it. And she says that's the curse of us Oddards. Who says we're really good at things that nobody else really has an interest in. But that's okay. It's good enough that I have an interest.
Yeah. I'll say to the first guy, is there any otters you talked about fringe portals?
Angelica's just gonna look at Chen like, what
She
the hell?
looks at you and she says, if you have a hole in the fringes of your clothing, you should mend them.
I guess not. Camelerin? Or actually, do we know the word yet?
Nope.
That
Well,
word
we
is
know the
not
word
in their
Camelerin,
language.
but
Yeah, say Camelerin.
That word is not in their language.
Yeah.
She says, do you like to make up words?
Oh,
Just string sounds together and try to come up with pleasing combinations?
It's
Is
something
that
that
why
I
you're an
heard.
Oddard?
No,
That's
that's
exactly
something
why.
that I heard.
That's exactly why
We
he's
just
an
we
Otter.
just know a language that or a dialect or that's different from yours.
So you made up your own language? How interesting. I can't say I know anything about that sort of thing. That really isn't my area of interest. But there's probably an Oddard somewhere that likes to play with words like that. And maybe you can find a buddy.
Yeah, you've met one. This guy. Now I'm patting
Sure.
on Chenway's shoulder.
No.
Yes. You started
Yeah,
I
this.
did
This is
not
yours
invent
now.
English, and I did not invent Chinese.
Nope. You
So-
got yourself into this one.
You must get yourself out of this without help from the infamous Peanut Gallery.
Peanutus gallerius.
yes.
Yeah, you got yourself in this one, Chenway.
Anyway, she says, well, you are probably hungry from climbing all the way up here and then all the way down.
Sure.
My feet do not like me anymore.
My ass is
You're
screaming at
asleep.
me.
Even Susan was complaining, but not much.
Right. She says, come on over you can come over to my house and I'll make you some dinner.
Come on to my house and I'm
wonderful.
gonna make you candy. Sorry.
Oh, very good. Cool.
All right.
Sounds lovely. We
Sure.
accept your offer.
Okay. All right, so you go inside, and she grabs some things, and she crushes them up in a um, uh, and when you walk inside her house, the first thing you notice is the fact is that this omnipresent breeze that had been there before is suddenly missing,
Ah,
and
there's
it's
walls.
Okay.
and you know you just notice that suddenly you're not your skin feels warmer, and your hair stops tossling, and other things, you know, and so the house is kind of closed up. And so she goes over and she takes out a pistol and mortar, and she starts crushing up some it looks like some, you know, nuts and other vegetables and things like that. And then she uh,
Mm.
and then she goes and uh, 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 puts it into a carefully puts a plate over, it puts a bowl over top, it flips it over, you know, and then she goes and gets some water, and she carefully pours the water. And you're, you know, and like I said, you're upright, is, you know, so it doesn't look that normal, other than the fact that the water droplets come out in big globs and fall into the bowl. And then she puts it on a trivet, and then she lights up. Apparently, it looks like an alcohol, a little alcohol light that heats up the bottom of it. And she goes and then she basically goes and gets some cups, and she dips out a very small portion of soup of some kind, and she goes and takes a cloth, and she wipes off the outside where you can see these big droplets are glistening around it. She turns over and she hands it to you carefully. She says, now, she says, be careful. A, it's hot, and B, you don't want to blow on it. Okay.
We don't? Why is that?
Because you're going to blow the liquid out.
And anyway, and she goes and starts handing the soup out like that, and she takes it. And she says, all right, so just, you know, tilt it gently towards you, and just sip, 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 sip.
Merci, madame.
Okay. And you do it.
Dang that in French.
And everybody give me let's give it an agility check.
All right.
Somebody tell me if you missed.
Okay,
All right. Made it.
hold on.
Yeah, that's fine. 11.
You were concerned?
And anybody fail this roll?
What would be a failure? A 2?
Anything below 4.
Below 4? Oh, no, I made it.
Cold.
Okay. I'm assuming you're doing this carefully.
Yes.
Okay.
Mainly because it's hot.
Yes, it's hot. Yeah. It's a matter. And she also goes over and hands you each a basically it's like it's like a moist biscuit.
Ooh.
Okay.
Moist biscuit.
It's quite you know, I mean, you can feel it kind of squish in your fingers. Okay, but nothing drips off of it. It just sticks to your fingers as such. Okay, and you can put it in your mouth and eat it. You know, so it actually, and it tastes like honey infused bread.
Ooh.
Okay.
This is most delicious.
Yes, it's my own special recipe. You know.
Yum.
How's the soup?
And the soup is actually clear. You know, so she was just, you know, she somehow must have filtered it when she was dipping the liquid out of it. It's probably the rest is still there in.
So it's like a vegetable broth.
It's like a broth, yeah.
Okay.
And so none of, you know, because if any of you had failed, you know, your roll, your agility roll, you would have gone the wrong way. You would have pulled it in, and then it would have like, you know, you would have been careful enough and you would have breathed it into your lungs and then you would have coughed it out and then it would have just blasted everywhere because it has almost no weight. So, it, you know, the soup would have gone everywhere into a big mist. Yeah. And so anyway.
I'll reach into my pocket, pull out a chocolate bar.
Oh, okay.
Break it into pieces.
Okay.
I've been saving this. Here you go.
Right.
Everybody gets.
Gotta be careful because some of those pieces might snap off and go floating around.
Well, I'm breaking it up while it's in the pack.
Okay.
In the wrapper.
You have
All right.
that
In my pocket.
in your pocket. Yeah. Okay then.
It's nice and soft now because it's been.
I have granola bars too, but
granola bars would definitely be problematic.
yeah, they get all over the place.
Anyway, so you know, so yeah, she enjoys that. Says, "Oh, this is delicious.
And I have
It's so rich in flavor. What kind of nut is this from?"
A cocoa nut.
Cocoa nut. I've never heard of a coconut.
Well, there you go.
Which, of course, brings an entirely different image to most of your minds.
I know.
Cocoa.
Just
nut.
It's actually from a bean.
A bean. Oh, okay. Well, anyways,
Cocoa bean.
someone's trying to make a joke with coconut milk, you know, but it's not working. So
Oh, no.
anyways, that would be me, by the way.
I know.
Anyway, so yeah, so you have a nice little meal, and it takes you quite a bit longer. It's not, you know, so the soup does get cold, you know, and whatever. But yeah, she says, you know, as you get better at this sort of thing, you know, then you then you'll find you know no trouble, you know, eating. You know, it's just if you're only used to eating food not in the city of Whizz, then of course it's a whole new skill set, you know.
And I see that.
Yeah, so most people use for anything other than like we just had, they usually use these kind of like clampers that you can just clamp down over food, put it in your mouth, and then you can open it up and you know tongue it off of the concave surfaces.
So like noodles are right out then.
Yeah. No, the noodles are fine. You can just suck those in your mouth. Just be careful you don't breathe. Just be careful you don't breathe too hard, okay?
I'm just
City
picturing
of Whizz is
sucking in a
not a
bunch of
place for
noodles
you to
and be
eat.
like, "Blah."
City of Whizz is not a place for people to eat fast, not unless they want to just spread it all over the place. I mean, what you do in your own home, because you're gonna have to clean it up yourself.
Okay.
But and you will be assigned chores, cleaning chores, after you get settled in. Because everybody's got to pull their weight here, as little as it is.
So how many people live here?
There's 9 people who live here. There's
9.
10 who live on the other side. Now, of course, with you 6, we're now 15. So 15 here. So we're way bigger than the other side, which means we get an extra vote.
Oh, and what do we vote on?
Usually, we vote on. I was going to say I was going to say music, but they're the ones who really do the music.
Making it work again.
I don't remember. I remember we used to have a vote for something, and I don't remember what it is anymore. I guess maybe we don't need the vote anymore.
We made him work again.
At least not with the A side. I'm trying to remember what was it.
So does everybody here somewhat artistic then? Is that what you're saying? On the B side?
I wouldn't say that. Only we're free thinkers here. Okay, artistic in the sense that we think thoughts that other people haven't thought.
So what is the other side like?
Well, they're all different people. So they don't play music the way they don't form a band like we did. Okay. I mean, if they sing, they do it on their own. And of course, the day end ceremony, of course, you know, they sing songs and stuff like that, just like we do. I mean, we're still normal people, you know. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's up for debate.
Anyways, of course, you and of course, since you're from a whole different village, are you all from the same village?
Kind of, sort of.
No.
Then of course you may have some poems, maybe some songs, some family songs that you've created over the years, and you could add that to our, your uniqueness to our collective society.
We will be assimilated.
Oh no,
Resistance
No.
is futile.
we refuse to be assimilated. That's why we're here.
I see.
I ask, are there any wizards around here?
She looks at you and she says, "You mean somebody who's really good at something?" I like to think that I am.
Oh, no, spellcasters.
A what?
Somebody who uses some magic.
Magic?
Magic, not just.
What's magic?
Oh,
Chen Wei's special ability is that he asks questions of the inane.
Oh, you like nonsense. You like nonsense songs, nonsense stories.
Yes, he does.
Says there's
I don't, but
Yes, he does.
if you don't speak Chinese,
you
people
probably
say that,
want
so.
you probably want to talk to Artandro. Artandro loves to make up crazy stories.
Like
Are
what?
they? Yeah.
Oh, he likes to imagine. He liked to imagine a place where there was like no horizon. It was like it was completely flat, and everything went on forever in all directions.
Was it
There
on-
was,
Can you
there was
introduce
one,
us
there
to
was
Al
one where there was a
Fringeworthy?
teacup that just hung in the sky forever, all by itself.
Could you introduce us to him?
You can introduce yourself.
Okay.
I
Did everybody
mean,
just go quiet?
he's
Okay.
like the third. He's like the third house over there.
Oh, okay.
The one with the one with the pet spiders in the boxes outside.
Spiders in boxes.
Yeah,
And their
I mean,
pets.
we all kinds of strange things end up here. Some things that like it says we actually have a rather large collection of birds. They go flying and they just get like caught, and they go falling down onto the platform, and then they some of them get away, and sometimes we catch them because they don't really know how to fly, when their weight is so low, and you think a bird, already doesn't weigh hardly anything at all, would just be fine, but some of them get so confused. They get so confused by this place.
Mm.
So, yeah, but this is, I mean, it's somewhat comforting to know that no matter where we go, we're always back right where we were in only 2.5 seconds.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, there you are.
There we go. We're right back
Yes.
here. 2.5 seconds. Every 2.5 seconds, right back where we started. There's a sense of solemnness and solidity to that, don't you think?
Certainly.
Yes.
I'm going
And
to
I
agree with
love the
anything anybody
fact
says.
that the older I get, and the more arthritic my feet get, I can still dance around here with no trouble.
Hmm.
Wait, they know arthritic?
Apparently.
Yeah. So what's the name of the guy you talked about, the horizon?
A
Or the
tourist.
flat?
Artando.
Artando.
Andro.
Artandro, yes.
Okay, he's got spiders around his house, but the spiders are safe. They're in boxes, right? So they won't attack.
Yes. I've never heard of anybody being attacked by a spider.
Unless you're Ronan.
Oh no.
Sorry.
So do you have any-
muted
I
a
read
Do you have
the
any
middle
more-
finger.
Do you have any more questions for Yanalis?
Mm, No, we thank her for the dinner and say we
Thank
should
you.
probably go find where we're gonna live.
Okay. Well, I don't know if there's any empty houses at this point, because some of them are being, some of them are being used as workshops. So you might need, someone might have already, taken, are using it. But
I see.
but I'm sure that, you could put a request into the caretakers and they would send some people down to build a new house without, toot sweet.
I see.
Yeah, but yeah, it's we might have to have if there are any houses there, we might have to have a discussion about which person should give up their workshop.
I see. Okay.
So, just temporarily, of course.
Right.
Just kind of depends on if they have any experiments that are in a crucial state.
I see.
You know.
Can you tell us any more about any of the other people that live here?
Okay. Well, it really would be better if you just talk to them about it. Everybody's got their own special interest. And so she does, start talking and about them, and you see that their interests are quite varied. Some people are interested in philosophy, some people are interested in physics, some people are interested in mechanics, some are interested in chemistry, and of course she's interested in ballet. So philosophy would be kind of like that whole thing with the words.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, and also the physics.
Well, I have an interest in
because
medicine.
he imagines things that aren't possible, like things just hanging in the air without being supported.
Right. And I have an interest in medicine.
Oh.
Does anybody else have an interest in medicine here?
Well, not here. Maybe over on the A side, but on this side, not really. Maybe the ones that are interested in how chemicals interact, maybe that would be like how our bodies digest food, and because
Okay.
trying to come up with new recipes, which I've been told is chemistry. It's the study of the complex interactions of the building blocks of whatever material is in the food.
That's true.
I myself really don't know anything about that sort of thing, other than of course I know how to cook. And but I must say that I mostly cook things that I learned how to cook when I was a young girl.
I see. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
It's been lovely. I'm sure
Thank
we
you
will see
very
each other
much.
again in the near
All right.
future.
Of course you will. You live here now. We'll probably
Right.
see. We'll probably see each other every day. And if you need me, if you'd like to come over and learn how to dance, I'm your gal.
I might take you up on that offer.
Oh,
Wait, do they have alcohol?
That would be the chemist.
Of course we have
Oh.
alcohol.
Just curious.
She says, she points over at the little fire that's under her little bowl of soup. She says, that's what's in there making it. Who would have thought that something that's good to drink would also be able to cook your food?
I don't know if you should drink that.
It's okay. It's from fruit.
Okay.
Calm down. It's probably nothing to be worried about.
If it's flammable.
Oh no, I was just laughing at the way
The
he
best
silently said,
moonshine is
"Okay."
flammable, sir.
Okay.
Ethanol can burn.
I guess it
Yeah.
can.
Any alcohol is
I learned
flammable.
that from the prequel Dukes of Hazzard movie.
And
Yeah,
if you've
well,
ever
that's
had
a lot of that's wood alcohol too.
Yeah, and if you've ever had, Cherry's Jubilee.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's because they put alcohol on it and light it on fire.
And
Burn
it's
the alcohol off.
It's the alcohol that burns, which I think is.
And those like I've seen photos of bars where the guy like he lights it all fire and then he.
Yeah, you have
Those,
to remember
fire
that's also
shots?
like 120 proof. So
Damn.
That's
or
not that hard to
151
get to. I've made 120 proof with yeast in college lab.
yeah, I know. It's doable. I mean,
Yeah.
it's whether or
It's
not
not
it tastes any good.
It's
Is the
not
question.
even hard. Yeah, well, that's where the craftsmanship comes in.
That's true. Okay. Well, we go on about our evening, I guess, or what? I guess it's the middle of the day still.
Yeah. What time is it right now?
Okay. Well, let's see here. It was. So you are 32. You're about hour 34. You got about another 10 hours before the end of the day.
Wow. And what happens at the end of the day?
Well, they've mentioned the day end ceremony.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now what, guys? Where do we want to go now?
We want to speak to this person who talked about horizons, who is something that I can't pronounce.
The guy that made up stories.
Artandro?
Chandra.
Okay.
It's like Arturo, but Alejandro put together. Artandro.
All right. Well, you go and it's not very hard to find Artandro. Artandro is he's apparently a painter as well. His house is filled with all kinds of strange pictures that have been, on woven canvases that looks like, that been some material has been put on them to make a nice smooth surface so he could apply pigments to them. And it's he has all kinds of crazy things.
Is he any good, or is it just like Jackson Pollock?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Does he stick the paintbrush in his butt and make butt paintings?
Do we see the spiders in the boxes?
You might want to be careful about making those suggestions out loud.
I did not need that image.
Well, let me put it this way. You would basically consider this guy to have about a D8 in performance painting.
Oh, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
He's no novice, but he's not an inspired painter either.
He's not Bob Ross, but he's
He's
not
basically he's using it to realize his visions.
Oh, it's Salvador Dali.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He's not Bob Ross in any of this.
I would say that a lot of his paintings look as good as Bob Ross's paintings do, considering he just kind of blobs things all over the place.
There you go.
Happy little clouds.
All right, so you come and you say, "Oh, newcomers! You're the newcomers. Hi.
Hi.
I am
Bruce,
Artandro."
Bruce, we're still in the same scene as when I left.
No,
We
It's the
switched
next
to a different
day?
person.
no, it's same day.
Same
Oh,
day,
same
different
day.
person.
Okay.
They're
All right.
trying to talk. Yeah, they're trying to talk to somebody else now. They've already talked to. This is the third person they've tried to talk to.
Oh, okay. Very good.
And yes, he did have little boxes outside that were filled. They were filled with various types of spiders. Some of them quite large.
Why
They don't look
spiders?
like baby, what's their names? Spider people, do they?
They do not look. They do not look like the Mixie.
Okay.
These are 8-legged arachnids. Anyways, they're basically hanging, from outside his windows so he can look at them, and but they're also, they're. It looks like he's built little scenes inside for the spiders to be around, So It's like a little diorama inside each one of them, but with enough cover so that the spider gets too hot, it can run inside. But you know, it's also possible that you know, this thing moving the way it is, that you know that any bugs or things like that that might you know fly in and find themselves here, you know, might be easily caught by them or whatever. Anyways,
And,
it's hard to say. It's just you know that's a whole different thing. But
I'm gonna
anyways,
radio
he's inside
Angelica.
and he's like busy painting away.
I'm gonna radio Angelica before we go into his house.
All right.
I mean, we can just sorry to retcon there, but yeah, it's really weird up here. It's like minimal gravity.
It's like being on the space on the what used to be the International Space Station before you know it all.
We're in microgravity up here. We're not floating, but
Are you trying to use the comms?
yeah.
Angel doesn't have the comms. They're broken.
Oh.
Her comm unit broke.
Oh yeah. Okay. I thought we gave her a new one.
I have no clue if we did.
You had them, and there was some discussion about giving one to her.
I thought we did.
You can assume you have it if you want. I don't want to keep you from being able to talk to people.
Yeah, let's go ahead and say that Angel Petrova has one.
Okay.
All right.
So it's like minimal gravity up here. I don't know if you want to try to fly Dom up. It's weird. These people live here for like the rest of their life because they're too odd to live in regular society. And we met
My people.
a dancer and a painter and a musician guy who likes to turn things into liquids.
Interesting. I think we're happy chilling down here.
And apparently there's a lake a couple of miles away if you want to go feed Dom.
Okay.
They say there's fish in it.
Fish.
And it's like, well, I'd point and say it's that way, but I have no frickin' idea which direction we are right now.
I can't see
Every
you
two
anyway.
2.5 seconds, it's all 360 degrees.
Yeah, you could. I don't know if you can fly there or what. The gravity's still kind of weird here, so.
Gotta love it, right?
I just want to go home.
Not really.
Maybe we should.
Yeah,
do some...
I don't think there's any wizard or protector here to talk to. It's just these people that live here.
Maybe we should try to do something to actually get back into the dark.
I don't
So we
know.
can
Maybe there's a way out from here.
So we
I
can
have
go
no
home.
idea what's.
Home sounds like fun. So anyway, yeah.
Just letting you know what's going on.
Thank you. So yeah, I'll see if I
I'll
can.
keep my channel open so you can kind of hear in. And
Why, thank you, my friend. Ah.
you're welcome.
Oh wait, I have my dragon. I have a dragon.
A lot smaller than I thought.
I have another one. So yeah, I have Dom with me.
Okay. All right. You guys want to stop for the night?
Yeah, that
Sure.
would be good.
Yeah.
Or you start trying to talk to Archandro?